She locked the doors. She changed her phone number. She moved to a new house. But no matter what she did, he always found her. The calls started late at night. No voice, just breathing. Then came the letters. Disturbing poems. Threats. Promises of pain. Signed by someone who called himself the poet. Her tires were slashed. Her windows rattled at night. Her husband was attacked. The police believed her. But they couldn't stop it. Because whoever this was, they were always one step ahead. But here's the part that no one saw coming. The man stalking Ruth Finley for over 20 years was Ruth herself. This all began back in Wichita, Kansas, in the early 1970s. Ruth Finley was a quiet woman. She worked as a secretary, had been married for years, and lived a modest, peaceful life. That peace shattered when she started receiving threatening phone calls, anonymous, heavy breathing on the line. Nothing said. Just breathing. She ignored it at first. Maybe it was a prank. But then the letters started arriving. Strange, rambling poems. Obsessive. Obscene. Aggressive. Whoever was sending them called himself the poet, and he clearly had a fixation on Ruth. It escalated quickly. She would come outside to find her car's tires slashed. Dead flowers left on the porch. Windows left open that she swore she'd closed. One night, she heard someone inside the house and called the police. By the time they arrived, the intruder was gone. This continued for months. Her husband Ed was even attacked while walking to his car one evening. A man in a ski mask knocked him to the ground and ran. Police launched an investigation. They checked Ruth's mail. They tapped the phone. They patrolled the neighborhood. But they never found a suspect. No fingerprints. No DNA. No witnesses. Whoever this was, he knew exactly what he was doing. The poet started referencing private details in the letters. Things no one outside her home should have known. He mentioned clothes Ruth had worn that day. Conversations she'd had with her husband. It was clear, someone was watching her. Out of fear, Ruth and Ed moved. They left the house, changed their number, and tried to disappear. But within weeks of relocating, the poet found her again. The letters resumed. The threats returned, bolder this time. He said he would bury her alive. One letter came wrapped in lace soaked with perfume. Another arrived tucked between the pages of a book Ruth had checked out from the library. This person had access to her life. Ruth was terrified. She stopped going out alone. She changed her routes to and from work. She started carrying a knife in her purse. She was unraveling. Even her doctors grew concerned. She began having panic attacks. Night terrors. Her weight dropped. She couldn't sleep. And then something truly strange happened. Ruth vanished. Her husband reported her missing, and hours later she was found wandering in a stranger's backyard, disoriented, confused. She claimed she'd been kidnapped by the poet but had escaped. When police questioned her, things didn't add up. Her timeline was fuzzy. Her description of her attacker changed. Officers grew suspicious. They quietly obtained a search warrant and analyzed the letters she had received over the years. One of them had been typed, using Ruth's own typewriter. They ran handwriting analysis. The notes matched Ruth. The investigators confronted her with the evidence. At first, she denied it. Then she broke. Through tears, Ruth admitted what she had come to suspect herself. She was the poet. She had been tormenting herself for years without realizing it. This wasn't a hoax or a game. Ruth wasn't lying for attention. She was suffering from dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder. As a child, Ruth had experienced horrific abuse she had never spoken about, not even to her husband. Her mind had buried the trauma so deeply, it created another identity to carry it. The poet wasn't just a voice in her head. He was a fractured piece of her past trying to surface. One part of her was terrified, desperate to survive. The other was still stuck in the pain and rage of her childhood, lashing out at the only target it could reach, herself. Ruth was never charged. She entered treatment. Over time, with therapy, she began to heal. And just like that, the poet was gone. No more letters. No more calls. The stalking stopped completely. Ruth went back to her quiet life. She and her husband stayed together. She even helped raise awareness about mental health later in life, though she never sought fame or publicity. She passed away peacefully in 2018 at the age of 89. Most true crime stories are about monsters. But this one was about a survivor. A woman at war with her own memories. And a mind that protected her the only way it knew how. Even if that meant terrifying her from the inside.